Hello and welcome. This is Dr. Allison, and today I have a question for you, which is how many food choices or decisions do you have to make every single day? So today we're talking about mindful eating, and this is a term that gets thrown around a lot, and it has to do with slowing down while eating, making conscious food choices, and really understanding your body. Some people call this intuitive eating as well. It's a little bit different than that, but that's what we're going to talk about today. So the average person makes somewhere between 200 to 300 food decisions every single day. And that sounds overwhelming, doesn't it? And for example, like breakfast has between 20 or 30 choices alone. So think about it. If you make eggs, the decisions that you have to make, like how many, how are they being prepared? Are you going to do whole eggs or just the white, seasoning, condiments, food, extra things like vegetables, or are you going to make an omelet? How are you going to have this breakfast? And by the time you're done with it, you've made a ton of decisions already. So we want to know if paying attention to your food choices is worth it. And I think we do know, because we have that feeling of when we eat food that we know that doesn't agree with us versus food that does agree with us, how we feel, how our energy is. And a lot of times it is hard to tell how we're feeling with the different types of food that we're eating. So we're going to get into this as well. So research has shown that being more attentive to your food choices can create sustainable, healthy weight maintenance without counting calories. So how cool is that? So the core principles of mindful eating are: 1, bring awareness to nourishing properties of food through the process of food preparation and consumption. 2, select enjoyable and nutritious foods. 3, acknowledge food preferences non-judgmentally and give permission to enjoy fun foods. And lastly, recognize and honor physical hunger and satiety cues and use wisdom to guide these eating decisions. So to me, mindful eating is all about making conscious choices about the food that I eat, which includes obviously meal planning, thinking about each meal or snack, thinking how about they're going to make me feel, making those right choices. And before I had my ulcerative colitis flare, 2020, I didn't pay as much attention. We ate 90% clean, but I had a lot of issues with like nighttime snacking. I would usually get really hungry at night. I would just eat anything and not care. And it happened last week too. Like the whole can of Pringles might have disappeared, and it made me very, very sick. And so sometimes when we're unconsciously or mindlessly eating, we forget, and you wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, why am I so sick? And the reality is everything that you ate that night before probably has a big part to play in that, okay? So intuitive eating is a little bit different, but you're still using your hunger and body cues to help you make decisions on what to eat. So I tell my patients all the time, you know what to eat, right? Then that's the biggest complaint. I don't know what to eat. But really, if I hand you a box of Oreos or a salad, you're going to know, hopefully, that a salad is a lot healthier than the Oreos, right? So what I asked you what you wanted to eat in that moment, the answer would change, and that's okay, right? Because it's not about judging. It's about making conscious decisions about what we put into our body. So why is it so hard to be a mindful eater? I think Sunday night intentions, we meal plan, we have our week prepped, and then Monday ends up being super stressful. And we're like, I'm not cooking dinner tonight. I'm over it. Let's go out to eat. And then sometimes the whole week gets shot, right? So one of the reasons that food is ubiquitous, is everywhere. Every time we turn around, it's convenient. Like you just check out at any store and there's candy bars and there's food everywhere. And none of it is ever going to be healthy, right? We also struggle with automatic eating, where we're not following our hunger cues. We're just using that mindless eating, whether it's boredom, emotional, stress, just habit. A lot of my patients struggle with, all right, it's 3 p.m. I need my soda. I need my Dr. Pepper. I need something. And it becomes a really hard habit to break, because when you go without it, you start to have these addiction type issues. Lack of planning is another one, because it takes planning to eat healthy, right? We have to buy our food ahead of time to have these things ready. Lack of knowledge, and I understand that a lot of people don't know what is healthy and what isn't. So I say Oreos versus a salad, right? But I will tell you, my son comes home from elementary school and says, Mom, my friends say McDonald's is totally healthy and they eat it every day and their mom says it's just fine. And I tell him, maybe they don't know that McDonald's is very unhealthy and it has issues with your blood sugar and diabetes and everything else that's connected with it is not healthy, but some people don't know. Some people were raised and told that fast food is healthy, pizza is healthy, diet soda is just fine, and when it's not, right? So if you don't know these things and you're thinking, wow, I know, I'm pretty sure McDonald's is healthy, like, it's time to do some research. It's time to ask around and read some books, get some help on figuring this out. And then environment also makes our food decisions difficult, right? Because we have foods in our environment, especially with family, kids, spouses. Maybe they're not on board. We buy food for lunches that, like fruit snacks for our kids that are dye-free. And I want to eat those, but I have to really be conscious of that and not be mindlessly snacking on their snacks. So what I would like to do is invite you to my free mindful eating challenge. We're going to be running it the whole month of February. I'm going to run a live masterclass on Friday, February 5th in our Facebook group. It's going to be recorded and saved, so you can listen to that as well. We're going to go deeper into the strategies of mindful eating and creating a healthy relationship with food. So we're going to switch from mindless eating to mindful eating and those strategies. So the link to register is going to be in the description or the comments of this video or podcast. And if you aren't on social media, don't worry. Sign up. You'll get an email with our master playbook, which will be on Google Drive, so you can access that. The videos will be separate off of social media, and you can watch those when you have the time. And this week, I just want you to start focusing on mindful eating. What are these choices that you're making before you put food in your mouth or you go into the pantry or the fridge? Take a deep breath and check in with yourself. Are you hungry? What level is your hunger at? Are you absolutely starving and we're beyond the point of no return? Your stomach hurts, you're raging. Are you bored? Is this emotional? And start to look at the foods that you keep in your environment. If you feel like you have to keep the pantry stocked with chips and cookies and candy, this is now the time to step back and say, okay, why am I doing this? If it's for my kids, you know that that's not fueling their growth, their health, their body, their brain. They also need healthy food, because the same goes for you. If your spouse isn't on board, maybe that's time to dig in a little bit and say, all right, what's going on? Why aren't you on board? A lot of times I see that we just need to be presented with research and help that person do their own research as well. My husband recently brought a new style of eating to me, and it's actually 2 years ago. I said, no, I'll never do that. That's so stupid. And now we're trying it. So it just took me to do my own research and really figure out what were the benefits, the positives, and the negatives. So it might be something that you have to do on your own. And with that, and speaking of family, a lot of families struggle with their children and eating, and mainly because their kids are eating crap, because it's the only thing kids will eat, and I understand. But I would encourage you to start looking at food dyes, all of them, especially red, yellow. Those are the biggest players. I have a lot of people say, oh, well, my doctor said only red dye causes an issue, but it's actually all of them. Look at the sugar, look at these additives, look at what you're giving to your kids. Try to switch to organic cereals when you can, if you have to, and just make those small changes to start. A lot of the chemicals that we use in our food today is actually banned in many places in Europe. Red dye is banned in Australia. Like, there's a reason that it's addictive and it harms our body, and it's still approved in the United States, only in the United States. So when we talk about mindful eating, we also have to talk about the addictions that we have to our food and why we're addicted. Is it emotional? Is it stress? Is it hormonal? But also, is it the food that has programmed us to be eating this way, especially fast carbs, fast food, things like that, because it gets our body spiked real high with sugars and fats, and then we crash, and then we're hungry again, and then we go back to the drive-thru again because we're hungry very quickly. So this is a time right now, as we go into this every week, to really just sit down and pay attention to what's going on, maybe make a chart, a list, whatever helps you, and join our free mindful eating challenge so that way you can really dive into these concepts as we go. So thanks for tuning in, and if you would like to schedule a consult for some personalized help, get some testing done, really dig into what's going on with you and get to that root cause, schedule a free consultation online. We'll chat about what your goals are, what's been going on, and we'll make a plan for you to move forward. Thanks for tuning in today, and we'll see you next time.